In today's video, we're going to discuss the top 3 stocks that all of you should be keeping in your watch list for this week. We're going to look at the overall market and discuss what to expect this week. And most importantly, follow up on some of the stocks that I've mentioned in the last video. Y'all, let's dive right into the charts. Right off the bat, we got the SPY. And on Friday, the market was kind of annoying. Again, I released a very bearish video, which I'm gonna pin at the top right of the top right corner of this video. That way you can watch it if you missed it. I released a very bearish video telling y'all about how I was expecting a massive sell-off on Friday. The market played games. It was looking really good. Like starting off the day, it was looking kind of good, especially like an hour before the market opened. Because I looked at the market and the VIX, especially the VIX. I told you guys, watch this thing for the VIX to open up above 14.25. And it was there for quite some time. Then I left the office for a little bit and then came back when there was like 15 minutes before the gates opened. And this thing started to sell off. And the SPY started to rise for some reason, probably because of some report that got put out. And things just didn't make any sense. Therefore, seeing the market kind of end up as a doji, where we see a massive green to red move intraday like this one. We have this green followed by red, and then we close as a doji on the daily like that. Like, it didn't really surprise me because of the way things were setting up that morning. But as of right now, big picture, the trend is still bearish, guys. Like, bears are still controlling the trend. They're still controlling the market at the moment. And this is not a video where I tell you guys to go long. This is definitely not it. Like, I am very bearish on the stock that we're going to discuss. And going back on the VIX. Yes, it is very sloppy. Incredibly sloppy for that matter. This thing was just supposed to open up here and then have a huge sell-off on that day. But that move that I was expecting might be postponed again for another 24 hours. And it does happen. It is very annoying. Because again, with options trading, you have to be right not only on the direction, but also on the timing. Like, you have to be right on where is it going and when is it going to get there by. That way you get a good, you can get a good ROI on the contracts when you're trading in a specific, like in that specific direction. So that's why it's kind of annoying. But I think we're gonna see that move happen eventually. Keep your alerts on there. Keep your alerts at 14.25. And when it rings during market hours, that's when I expect that move to happen. Okay? So keep it right there. 14.25, that's the mark. Now, first stock to keep on watch for this week, I would say semiconductors, and the big one is Nvidia. All right. Now with Nvidia, it pushed all the way up to 495, and the reason why it pushed, again, if you've been following the channel, if you've been learning from what I've been teaching you guys in these videos, this is a reverse head and shoulders. We got the left shoulder, we got the head right there, and then we got the right shoulder, and then it broke right through that neckline. Pre-markets held and then pushed all the way through this level of resistance. There are some people who got trapped, maybe people who bought pre-market here hoping for a bigger move to like 500, and then they got annihilated on that day. These individuals got a second chance, got one more chance, I would say, one more chance to pretty much break even and get out. Hence the pullback during the second half of Friday. I'm not bullish on it. It's been rejected at 500 for quite some time. This is not some, and also, I'm zooming out here, and some of y'all might say, it's cooking, it might make a bigger move later on. It could, but with I'm taking everything into perspective here. Everything. There is this level right there. And if that breaks, I would say be very cautious because potential traps like that can occur. Kind of like what's happening with BTC. That can occur. All right. So just be careful if it does break above there. And if it doesn't, then expect a massive sell off. I'm leaning more towards the bearish side, especially for tomorrow, Monday. I think we drop back down to the neckline at 485, and then I will evaluate it again to see where it could end up on Tuesday. But for Monday, watch the video for a pullback to the neckline. The second stock to keep on watch for tomorrow, I'm gonna go on the 1 minute, and then we're gonna look at Netflix, and I'm going to erase everything. All right, now with Netflix, it had a massive run throughout the last 2 months, and it's looking kind of weak right now. It's looking very, very weak. It had a big sell-off on Tuesday, again, to start off the year, and then it's been consolidated and slowly showing a whole lot of dojis, which isn't very pleasant to day trade in these 3 days specifically. Not that pleasant. So, but it's given a chance for anybody who is short or who've been short to actually add to their position here. Because these upper wicks, especially when they're long like this, they're filled with sellers. All right. And the doji doesn't really change the trend of the stock. The stock is still bearish. And if you look on the left side up here, the NASDAQ is down a little bit. The Dow Jones is down a lot more than a SPY and the NASDAQ. So just keep that in mind. One has to catch up with the other. And when the Dow Jones is down like that, the odds of the NASDAQ and the SPY catching up, or I was catching up to this one, are highly likely. So just keep your eyes out for that. We're gonna dive in. We're gonna zoom in more. We're gonna look at the 5 minute, and with the 5 minute, it showed a descending triangle intraday right there, which broke down right at 2 o'clock. All right, and right now it's looking like it's playing some games. I have seen the this descending triangle do this. It is kind of annoying, and at this point you just have to like rely on the indices in order for this thing to play out well. And usually when I take this for a day trade, especially if it breaks down a little bit more earlier than 2 o'clock, like to this level right here at 474 would be the stop loss, right? And the best price action that I want to see is just a huge drop all the way down to like 467, maybe 466 before we see some type of rebound. But this thing looks like it's playing games, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it open lower and actually get there on Monday. This is to test the patience or anybody who is short, because it was very, very clean, and for it to do this into the close is a little bit more suspect. It doesn't look like something that I would actually want to buy long, especially when you look at the bigger picture and you see how high the stock has been and you compare that with the indices as well. All right, you don't want to be a buyer up here, you want to be a buyer down here. So I'm leaning more bearish on the stock, despite the fact that it got kind of sloppy at the close. All right, now the third stock to keep on watch for tomorrow, that stock is Tesla. All right, and we got time. Now with Tesla, it also pulled a green to red move on Friday, which was very annoying. On Friday, I told y'all there is a bear flag on there. I'm expecting a massive drop. It did drop pre-market again, and then that report came out, which was very annoying. Again, extremely annoying for anybody who went short right here with the breakdown of this. There is a little bearish pennant right here. All right, so shorts got in here, and probably added right here during these last 15 minutes, hoping for a major drop all the way down to fill this little gap. And then the market decides to play these games, these very annoying games. It's still bearish, right? It tested the level of resistance once and then twice, and then sold off into the close. With the Nasdaq being down and the Dow Jones being down, I can expect the stock to drop all the way down to $235 right here, and then we can see a sell-off. All right, so my thoughts and opinions are not changing with Tesla. I think it's going to drop to 225 before we see any type of bounce. Ultimately, this is the goal. Even the daily chart is still bearish, right? It's still there. So until something drastic happens, like we see a huge candle like that with major volume, we are still bearish on Tesla. All right, now a quick update on one of the stocks that I've mentioned, Palantir. All right, Palantir behaved well compared to Snapchat, and I still think this one is going to drop. See right there, I told you guys, when we see that little bounce, especially when there is a descending triangle that is that clean, it's literally a spot for shorts to not only add more but also reposition. Let's say they covered their money here, they would take another short position here to cover again down here at the open to get back in here to cover at 15 bucks. Again, I'm still bearish on the stock. So it's making this zigzag turn, which is a different way of the descending triangle to behave. Ultimately, the end goal is for it to drop to 15, maybe even 14 and a half, depending on how ferocious we see a pullback, depending on how ferocious the pullback on the indices becomes. All right, so unfortunately Snapchat didn't do so well as Palantir. This one actually rebounded, which can happen. All right, I told you guys, I've seen in the video that I mentioned Snapchat for the very first time, I showed you guys this one, this bearish pennant, and I also specifically told y'all that I've seen ones that look a lot better than this. All right, it did its thing, but unfortunately it couldn't really give more. So I will say let this one go. It might play some games. Is it gonna get down here? I don't really know, and I'm not really too focused on it. All right, so the only so it looks like the major move to make money on it was from 17 all the way down to 15 and a half. All right, so that's pretty much it. That's the updates on the stocks that I've mentioned in the past. And yeah, that is the end of the video. Again, do not forget to annihilate the like button as always. I release these videos from Sunday to Thursday at exactly 10 p.m. Central Time. So definitely click on that subscribe button. That way you don't miss out on future uploads. And also click on the notification bell. That way YouTube notifies you whenever I release these videos. If you'd like to be part of a private Discord community where you can get all of this information in real time as I see them, you can find that as the first link in the description of the video below. Don't forget to follow me on social media at Paul Nguma, at Patternology Lab on Instagram and on Twitter. And lastly, to get some free stocks with Webull, you can use the third link in the description of the video below. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Nguma, Patternology Lab, where we trade patterns only. And I will see all of you in the next video.